Hey everyone, my video was getting so long that I decided to split it up into two parts. So this is part 2 after I wake up from surgery. So if you haven't watched part 1, make sure to go back and watch that first.
I was facing all the sunlight while our feet swung freely from the bridge.
So after that, I woke up in the recovery area, which was kind of scary. I thought I would be waking up in a room alone, but it was like this big room. It reminded me of the pit, I think, like in Grey's Anatomy. Is that what they call it? Not the clinic. It might be the clinic. Like there's just curtains in between you. I wasn't in a room. I was like, I could hear someone on the other side of each curtain, which is not the most wonderful thing to wake up to. I'm not sure why they do that when you are just waking up from surgery. But I did eventually see a nurse that popped up into my view, and she explained everything, said the surgery went well. She handed me my morphine pump, which I wasn't in any pain, which people are saying that that's like miraculous. I really didn't feel any pain. The only thing I felt was nausea. Like I felt sick. I felt very, very sick, like I was gonna throw up. I can't remember. I think I did ask for a throw up bag. I think at that point, I don't know. I'm like, it's really fuzzy, y'all. I don't remember a lot of what was happening. And I couldn't see. That was one other thing, because I had to leave my glasses with my mom. So I'm in this other part of the hospital with no glasses, no contacts. I can't see anything. I mean, my vision, like I can make out like colors and everything, like that's fine. But it's all pretty much just like a blur of colors. Like I could recognize that a person's talking, like their face, but they'd have to be like this close to me for me to like really see them. So that was a little scary, but I was never like freaking out. I wasn't like super scared. Like I was, coming off the anesthesia. I still felt very safe, very calm, like I was in a good place. And once I was like fully awake and like answering the nurse's questions, I think she asked me like, do I know where I am? Like what happened? I'm like, yeah. And they did ask me if I wanted to go to the bathroom. They asked me if I felt like I could walk to the bathroom. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't like tried. And they're like, we'll just wheel you over closer to it. So they wheeled me over closer to the bathroom, and I sat, and automatically the panic ensued because the only other like surgical event I've ever had is getting my wisdom teeth taken out. And like 2 days after getting my wisdom teeth taken out, I realized I haven't peed in 2 days almost. It was like a day and a half, one full 2 days. And like I was unable to pee after getting my wisdom teeth taken out. So we had to go to the ER. They had to put a catheter in. And I have been so paranoid about that happening after surgery. And of course, when I sat down, nothing. Couldn't pee. Everything sort of still felt numb down there. So I'm almost in tears. I held it together though, didn't cry, but I was like, nurse, I can't pee. And she's like, oh, well, we'll try again. So we did try again. And probably like 10 minutes later, we tried again. The nurse turned the water on for me. So if you are having trouble peeing right after surgery, ask them to do that, because I think that was really helpful. As soon as she turned that water on, like the floodgates opened, I peed, all good. And I think I peed one more time after that, because I was there for a good 2 hours in recovery. And it shouldn't have been that long. They just didn't have a room ready for me in the recovery, or the whatever. Like they didn't have like my own room ready for me. So we were just waiting down there. I'm just laying there blind, no phone. So eventually, like an hour into this recovery, I'm like, can someone please go get my phone and my glasses from my mom? And they were like, oh yeah, like advocate for yourself. Like I shouldn't have even waited an hour. I should have asked for that like the second I woke up, because that was ridiculous. Like that I couldn't see anything or contact anyone. But they did say that they like talked to my mom and everything. They were keeping her updated as this went on about like the room situation. But I was there. I finally got my glasses and my phone. That's the point where I started noticing that looking at my phone was making me sick. Like just staring at the phone, like holding something in my hands and looking at it, it was like a motion sick feeling. So I would like get a text in real quick, like, hey everyone, I'm okay, love you. And like I had to put it down and close my eyes. Like I couldn't look at it. And that feeling did not go away for 2 days. So I really feel bad. I got as much footage, thank God for my mom, because she did film a lot of things for me that I wanted you all to see, but I was not able to look at my phone. I couldn't watch Netflix, I couldn't get on Instagram. Like I felt sick. I could only look at it for maybe like 30 seconds at a time, and I had to put it down and not look at it. But yeah, I was just feeling terrible, but no pain at any point. And I want to talk about one other thing. So the nurse at the hospital pressed my morphine pump for me. And there's a very clear sign on the morphine pump that says, do not press this. Only the patient can press this. Only the patient, me, not you, me. And I woke up, like I was taking like a little nap, and I like opened my eyes, and she's like, oh, how are you feeling? I went ahead and pushed your morphine pump a few times for you. I was like, why? I wasn't in pain. And I think that may have contributed to some of my nausea. Like I don't do well with pain meds. I don't like pain meds. Like I would rather feel a little bit of pain than put something else into my system that's probably gonna make me sick. So I didn't want to press the morphine pump. I didn't press the morphine pump, not once the entire time I was at the hospital, because I didn't want it. And this pushed it for me. So wasn't happy about that. And I told on her butt when I got upstairs to my room, because it clearly says on there, don't press it. And I told her I wasn't in any pain. So why would you give someone morphine that's not in pain? That's how people get addicted to drugs. Okay, that's my TED Talk. Let's see. So next thing I wanted to talk about are any like complications that I have. So obviously the nausea was a little complicated to deal with. They kept having to give me Zofran and Claudine. Oh my God. I knew I was going to forget this. I should have taken a picture. Something that started with a C. They were like going back and forth between these two nausea medications to like try and get it under control. Hey everybody. So I'm sitting up. I peed again. They brought me over to the chair to sit up. I'm supposed to sit up at certain points. I did the spirometer. We showed me. That's been doing fine. I've been hitting my goals on that. Right now I'm just extremely nauseous. It comes in waves. Every few minutes I feel like I'm gonna throw up. It feels like I'm going to throw up, and then it sort of stops and comes out as a burp, and then I like spit up like really liquidy stuff. So yeah, that's been happening. I've got my vomit bag here. But I haven't actually like heaved, which is weird. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. I haven't felt the need to push my little pain medicine button. I don't even know where it is. I haven't pushed it. I don't feel pain. I only feel nausea. So yeah, that's where we're at. And I was not, so like I would feel nauseous. My mouth would sort of water up, and I would be spitting water into this little vomit bag. It was gross. And a few times, I would say like 3 times, I did actually like I was just doing that. Like, I'm sorry if it's being too graphic, but pretty much the next like few things we're going to talk about are going to be pretty graphic. So if you want to like sign off, I totally understand. But yeah, so I was only heaving maybe a few of those times. Most of the time I was just like spitting out the water, feeling kind of gross. But the heaving, it didn't hurt as much as you would think. You know, you would think like it would be pretty painful to have that heaving and your stomach be like this freshly stapled, mangled mess, but it actually didn't hurt that bad. It was just uncomfortable. Like, you know, I wouldn't want to deal with that again, but it was pretty much that. I was dealing with the nausea incidents maybe every hour for like 2 days straight. So I was miserable. I was 100% regretting all of my life decisions, not necessarily the surgery, but like the fact that I needed to have surgery in the first place, like I was kind of beating myself up for having to go through with this, like that I got myself to a point where I needed to have surgery. So that was went through a little depression. I really didn't cry much. I'm trying to think if I cried at all. Well, you know, I did cry talking to my mom. My grandma is not doing well, and I did get pretty upset about that. And I was, the other night I was worried about breastfeeding. I wasn't sure if I was making enough milk because my baby was being real grumpy, so I did cry about that. So I can tell that my hormones are like a little out of whack. And people say that that is the case after bariatric surgery because I'm crying a little more often than I would normally cry. But nothing major. But I didn't cry over like pain or anything. Again, no pain. Why am I not in pain? Not in pain. Weird. Other complications. They did a barium swallow test the morning after my surgery. So I went through the night and they woke me up. It was around 8 a.m. I think they came in to give me the barium swallow test. If you've never had a barium swallow test, you need to prepare yourself mentally for it. So I just did the barium swallow test. They make you stand up in front of like an x-ray thing and swallow this horrible tasting drink. So that is over with, and I'm hoping they will let me eat something. Still feeling very nauseous, but it is what it is. It's nasty. It's like if you were to take a bunch of Tylenol pills, like crush them up, grind them up, put them into like a very thickened Gatorade. Like if you were somehow able to turn Gatorade into like a syrup consistency and put in a bunch of crushed up pills, that is what barium tastes like. I don't know if that's actually what you're drinking. I assume it's called barium swallow, so the stuff you're drinking is probably barium. Yeah, that's what it tastes like. It's god awful. And when you're already feeling nauseous, and I feel like the people in the barium swallow x-ray lab were not like super nice about me being in pain. Well, I mean, not pain, but like me, I had my throw up bag. Like I was feeling terrible. And they were like, you know, come on, swallow, keep swallowing, to sip some more. I'm like, can I have a second? Like I'm seriously hurting. Like this is, because first of all, that's my first sip of anything. So like I'm experiencing this whole new, I had not had any liquids to this prior. They don't want you to drink or eat anything until you do this barium swallow test to make sure that there's no leaks. So my first sip after bariatric surgery, so I'm already enduring the feeling of what sipping is like after bariatric surgery, and you all just saw me earlier take a sip. It's not pleasant feeling, and it's the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my life. So yeah, I got through it. I wanted to punch the doctor, or what was he? He was physician's assistant. Yeah, he was a physician's assistant. But wanted to punch that guy in the face because first of all, he was super rude to me and like not sympathetic at all to me freaking throwing up. And like, I'm like, can I have a second? And he's like, no, just keep swallowing. And like complete like dead face. No, like it's going to be okay. We'll get through this. No, fuck. Whatever. Maybe he was having a bad day, but I was having a pretty bad day too. He could have been a little more sympathetic. That's just me. But yeah, so I got through that. They put me out in the hall for like 30 minutes, just like sitting in a wheelchair, doing nothing until somebody like came to transport me. They did the same thing when I was having my CT scan when I was back in the hospital after I had my baby. Like they just leave you in the hallway and they're like, here's this little red cord. If something goes wrong, make sure you pull it. What if I like passed out or something? How am I supposed to pull a red cord if I'm unconscious? So I thought that was a little rude. But got back up to my room after that. After I got back up to my room, the physical therapist came in and took me for a little walk just to make sure I was doing okay. She put this little band around me just to make sure I didn't fall. And then after that, I asked her if I could have some water, and she said yes. And they brought me a bottle of water.
You. What's going on?
My first sip of water since 2 days ago.
Are you getting to eat yet?
Not yet, but I think they're gonna bring me something. Probably some broth. I'm down with that.
How are you feeling?
I feel a lot better than I was an hour ago. Okay, so let's talk a little about the food. So I am a vegetarian, so they initially brought me chicken broth. I do not eat chicken broth, so I asked if they had a vegetable broth, and they did. It was gross, not gonna lie, but it was nice to have something like not sweet, because my other options are these little sugar-free snack pack gels that do not have actual gelatin in them, and these, the Isopure. This is the lemonade flavor. It's 160 calories for the whole bottle and 40 grams of protein, and then water. And they also brought me tea, so that was nice to have a little something different. But the doctor came in and saw me and said that as long as I'm holding everything down pretty well, that I should get to go home tomorrow. So that'll be nice, I think. I hope. Yeah, so definitely doing a lot better than I was. The first hours after surgery were a struggle. Last night was a struggle. This morning was a struggle, but I'm finally now over 24 hours out. Yes, from the surgery, and I probably started feeling better like 4 or 5 hours ago. After I did the barium thing, I started feeling okay after that. Then things went uphill. They gave me more Zofran and more some other pill I can't remember. It's like an anti-inflammatory, and like that combination of medicine really seems to be working to make me not nauseous anymore. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, I'll check back in with you guys if anything happens. So this next portion, I told you all it was going to get kind of graphic. This will be the TMI portion of the video. So if you are a good friend of mine, you know who you are, you could sign off now and that would be totally fine. But if you do want to hear the TMI stuff, this is the kind of stuff that I have not personally heard anyone talk about in any videos I've watched. Maybe, I don't know, some of the stuff, yes, but like some of the stuff is stuff that I really wasn't prepared for, but we're going to talk about it because you all deserve to know, especially if you are considering the surgery. I think you should know every single thing that goes on, and like even if it is TMI, like I want to tell you guys about it because I wish someone had told me about it. And I didn't like feel unprepared. I was kind of prepared for anything, so I'm not like mad about that. But yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is my period. So my period was scheduled to start June 2nd. I have a little period app. It's called Glow. Check it out. I love it. You know, it lets me know when my period's gonna start, and it's actually been super accurate for me since before having my baby. So I've been using it since like 2018, I think is when I started using it to track my periods and to find out like when I was most fertile, so I could avoid doing things on those days so I didn't get pregnant. And it actually was like super accurate. I just made a mistake. And yeah, that's how I ended up with my baby. Not that she's a mistake. I love her so much. She was a happy accident. But it really wasn't an accident. If I had just looked at the app and like done what the app told me, then she would not exist. But I chose to do something and take a very high risk and got what I got. But love that app. It definitely would have prevented a pregnancy if I had done what it told me to do. But you know, for right now, I'm just using it to track my periods. So my period was supposed to start June 2nd, which was the day of my surgery. it did not start June 2nd. It started in the middle of a vomiting episode. I'm like sitting on the edge of the bed, throwing up, and like that was one of the actual heaving incidents. This is the morning after surgery, so this is Thursday morning. I'm like, and mind you, I'm not wearing any underwear, sitting on these white sheets. I feel gush. Like I feel the gush of blood come from between my legs. I look down, blood everywhere on the sheets. I'm like, wonderful. Yeah, I wasn't wearing underwear. I don't know why. I should have put underwear on. I knew, well, a lot of people told me that like surgery, every single person I talked to was like, surgery will mess with your period. You might not get your period. Surgery will do this. Surgery will do that. My period came right on time. So all you people, mom, that told me that my period probably wouldn't come because of surgery, you were wrong and I should have put underwear on. So yeah, that happened. Had to have the nurse come in, change the sheets. I asked one of the nurses like if she thought it was okay if I put a tampon in, and she kind of like looked at me like, that's a weird question, like why would you want to wear a tampon? And I was like, okay, well, can I get some like mesh underwear and a pad or something? And she was like, okay. So she got me extra large pair of mesh underwear. They were a little tight. When I was pregnant, I had to have the XXL. They were much more comfortable, but the XL worked. I can't believe they didn't have bigger underwear considering like bariatric surgeries are performed at that hospital and I'm a bariatric patient, but I didn't ask for anything bigger. They might have had it. So yeah, they gave me like this crappy little pad, put it in there, and that was okay for a while. Ooh, another gross thing. So you have to pee in like a potty hat. I don't know if you know what a potty hat is. If you've never like had surgery or had a baby or anything, I'll insert what a potty hat is. But it's just this little thing that they stick inside of the toilet to measure your urine output. So every time I was peeing now, because I'm wearing a pad, I'm not used to wearing pads. I'm not used to like just letting the blood flow, but my pee's like bright red. I'm getting blood all over the toilet seat. It's disgusting. My periods are super heavy. It was not uncommon. Ever since having a baby, my periods have been super heavy. So yeah, that was pretty normal for me, but I'm usually wearing a tampon, so I don't see the bloody massacre in the toilet very often. So, you know, every time somebody would come in to clean, I'm just like, don't be frightened. I am on my period. It's not, don't be scared. Yeah, because it was rough looking in there. It looked like a horror movie. I got they gave me like 2 pads to begin with, so I changed into a second pad, ended up putting my own underwear on because the mesh underwear, I don't see why people love those so much. I'm not comfortable in those things. So I put on my own underwear finally with a pad. And then after I bled through that second pad, I was like, F this, I'm not doing pads anymore. I don't like pads. And I just took it upon myself to take myself to the bathroom. That was actually the first time I just unplugged my own machine and just took myself to the bathroom. Every time I had been calling somebody to come take me to the bathroom. So this was the first time that I like just took it upon myself. I went over, grabbed my tampon out of my suitcase, and I went to the bathroom, stuck that in, and I was happy from that point on. And I had to change it 4 times over the next day and a half. And yeah, I definitely recommend, if you prefer tampons, wear the tampon. Even if they tell you they prefer you not to wear the tampon, wear the tampon. Like, they're not gonna check. Next thing I want to talk about, you probably know it's coming in the TMI portion. Let's talk about poop. So, before I had surgery, like the night before, I had chicken tikka masala, like a vegetarian chicken tikka masala, which can tend to irritate the stomach a little bit, but I didn't have to poop the morning of, or like the night before, so I knew it was probably coming. And when I was in the like pre-admission room, like getting my IV put in, I felt like I had to poop, but it was like right after I got my IV in. I was like, oh man, I gotta go. And I made the executive decision to wait. So I did end up pooping the morning, no, it might have been like the night of surgery. I pooped pretty quickly because like it was already in there, you know what I mean? Like I had to go. So I didn't really count that as like my first after surgery poo, but the doctor seemed to be very happy that I did poo. Even though I knew it was already brewing in there. So yeah, so my first like actual poo post-surgery was this morning, 5 days post-op, and it was a wonderful, relaxing poo. I had no problems delivering the package. Nothing, it was actually a little abnormal for me, but I think it is more like a normal bowel movement. Let's call it that from now. It was a normal bowel movement. It was like, you know, soft and normal looking. Usually I tend to be a little pebbly, and I think it's because of like my high fiber diet that I've had, and you know, I'm not getting as much fiber. It's probably hardly, yeah, there's like I'm probably getting like 2 grams of fiber per day right now on this diet that I'm on. So I'm definitely having a lower fibrous diet. So it's making me have more of a normal poo. Yeah, so ooh, that swallow wasn't as bad. Oh, nope, here we go. Ooh, sometimes like breathing through the swallows really helps. Yeah, so yeah, if you have any questions about like the TMI stuff, please don't hesitate to ask me. I am an open book. I will talk about anything, whatever. I guess sex is another thing we could talk about. That's not happening right now, so I don't really have much to say about that. Do I feel like I could do it? Probably. Like if I was maybe like not leaning up against my stomach, like if I didn't have to move around too much or put any pressure on my stomach, I don't see why it would be a problem. Ooh, yeah, that happens a lot. Ooh. Like it just feels like bubbling up from the depths, and then sometimes a burp happens, and walking around really helps. I did forget to mention that. I probably insert a video of that, or I will, of me walking. So let's look at my incisions. If you all, I added this in the TMI portion in case anyone needed to leave, doesn't like graphic things, but let's take a look at my incisions. In my opinion, they look great. I showed them to my friends the other day and everyone's like, like it's like horrible looking, but I think they look pretty good. They are sealed with Dermabond. They're not stitched, so there's like a little like layer of glue basically holding my skin together. So I have to be careful about lifting and everything, so we don't want to pop that glue open. But I will show you them. Ooh, that hurt after sitting for a while. Okay, let me step back a little bit. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 little surgical incisions. They don't hurt or anything. They are starting to get to a point where they're like a little itchy. Like this one especially right here, like I want to itch it, but I know I can't. Ooh, what's that? So I've been like sort of like itching around the surgical site, but not actually itching on it. This one I believe is most likely the one that they pulled my stomach out of. It is the most prominent one. It is the one that does feel the most sore, and it kind of like caused, can you tell, like there's like a little indentation where that one was. So I think that one maybe had a little more trauma to it than the other ones. This one, I hardly even noticed that this one's here. I wonder what went through that hole. But yeah, this big guy here is really the one that's giving me any trouble. Oh, that kind of covers that right there. I can wear a tiny little crop top. If I pull my pants up to right there, I can show a little bit of skin. Okay. But yeah, these scars, they will fade pretty tremendously from what I've seen from other people, or they might not. I'm not really worried about it. I'm not like showing off my belly all the time to people, and I'm not the type of person that cares that I have scars. Like, I've already got a crap ton of stretch marks, like might as well add a couple more scars, you know? What's it gonna hurt? Yeah, so hopefully this video is not too crazy long. If it is, this could be a part 2. I may have to split this up into 2 parts. If it's not, I don't know, we'll see. But that is about all I think I wanted to talk about in this. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for supporting me through this really hard decision. It was a very hard decision to go through with this. You know, I've always said I would make my final decision like the day before surgery. And yeah, I did make my final decision probably like 3 days before surgery. Yeah, I talked it out with my mom. This is something that I wanted to do, and I did it. So in the next video, I will talk about how I'm doing a little bit more. I think I'm gonna save that for another video. So I'll give you all like a 1 week. So tomorrow will be my 1 week post, no, Wednesday. Is it tomorrow or Wednesday? I keep getting confused. No, my surgery was last Wednesday. So Wednesday, I will give you like a 1 week post-op update. I'll let you all know more specifically how everything's going with my liquid intake, my protein intake, and all that. So watch out for that video on Wednesday. I will probably get it uploaded that night like I usually do. But thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you go over to my Instagram and follow me on there, and if you go over to my TikTok and follow me on there, I really appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye.